support and your assistance is certainly appreciated, and we're going to provide some additional details now as it relates to the ongoing investigation and information, not only from the actual mayor himself, but also the fire chief and the police chief. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Mayor, Robert Garcia.
Thank you. As we all know, Long Beach really lost a hero today, and the entire city, as well as our fire department, is mourning the loss of someone that was very dear to our community. We all know that Captain Rosa was well loved in Long Beach amongst his peers, but also in the community as well. And so our hearts, our love, and our prayers go to his family and, of course, all of his friends and the department. Ernesto Torres, who was also, of course, injured, is, as we know, in stable condition, and our thoughts and prayers are, of course, with him, his friends, and family as he has to deal with this tragedy as well. We're incredibly thankful as a community and as a city to every single member of the Long Beach Fire Department and every single member of our Long Beach Police Department. They are heroes who run towards danger every single day, and today was no exception. We're grateful for them, and we'll continue to give them our full support. Even as the incident unfolded today, our police officers and our firefighters have been out dealing with the daily issues that come up, and that goes to show you their strength and character as departments. I also want to make a note that because of today's incident, we have had to evacuate about 80 seniors from the building. Those 80 seniors are receiving care and are currently sheltered at the Silverado Park Community Center here in Long Beach. We've partnered with the Red Cross as well as other local agencies to ensure that they're receiving medical care, to ensure that they have their full health care. Of course, there's counseling on site, and they're also, even our animal care department for their pets, all of that has been taken care of to ensure that they are okay, and we hope to get them back into their units as soon as possible. And so with that, we'll continue to watch them, but our love is with our amazing fire department, and we know that the community's love is with them and the Rosa family as well.
Thank you. I'm Mike Dury. I'm the fire chief for the Long Beach Fire Department, and I want to go back over some points that I put out this morning, but just to reiterate the timeline, how we got to this point today. At 03:49 this morning, fire units responded to a fire alarm at 600 East 4th Street in Long Beach. Supplemental reports of a fire and an explosion. At 03:51, occupants reported a strong smell of gasoline in the high-rise apartment complex. As fire units made their way to the third floor to the reported location, it was noticed that the windows had been blown out of the affected unit. The sprinklers in the building had been activated, and units were working to address water flow and had fire knockdown at 03:59 hours. At 04:08 hours, there were reports of shots fired. 2 firefighters were shot. Both were transported to St. Mary Medical Center to be evaluated. Captain David Rosa, a 17-year veteran with the Long Beach Fire Department, died from his injuries he sustained while responding to that fire. Captain Rosa is survived by his wife and his 2 sons, aged 25 and 16. Captain Rosa's last assignment was at Fire Station 10 in central Long Beach. Captain Rosa's body was escorted to the LA County Coroner's Office, and I want to take a moment to thank the men and women of both the Long Beach Fire Department, the Long Beach Police Department, California Highway Patrol, our sheriffs, and our partner fire agencies throughout the Southern California region that came out en masse to pay respect to Captain Rosa as he made his final transition to the coroner's office. It's important to note, firefighters across the region, across our state, and across our country right now are putting themselves in harm's way in service to their community. Captain Rosa answered that call this morning of service to his community, and he paid the ultimate sacrifice in doing so. I don't think we should ever lose sight of the fact that the men and women of law enforcement and the fire service are constantly at risk. Constantly at risk. Today's a tough day for the men and women of the Long Beach Fire Department. We're in mourning. But as I say that, even though we have men and women on fire engines right now that are in mourning, they continue to go to work and respond to calls for service, putting themselves in harm's way in service to the members of this community. I do want to take a moment to thank the the citizens of Long Beach. I want to thank the mayor, the city council for their outpouring of love and support. I want to thank the citizens or the residents of this community that turned out en masse to pay respect to Captain Rosa as we transferred him up to the coroner's office. We have activated our memorial management team. There will be more information regarding memorial services for Captain Rosa in the coming days. And I'm happy to report that firefighter Ernesto Torres, who was also struck with gunfire this morning responding to that call, is expected to make a full recovery. He was also transported to St. Mary Medical Center where he received the treatment he needed. With that, I want to turn it over now to Police Chief Robert Luna, who's going to talk about the open investigation.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you all for being here today. And I said this earlier today. I appreciate all of you covering this very important story. I'm going to go through some notes I have, some details of what I know to have happened this morning. But I am a little frustrated from a perspective is that there's still a large puzzle that we're trying to put together. And there's a lot of information that we don't know yet. So after this, we'll take your questions and we'll try and answer any of them that you may have, but please be patient with us. At the end of the day, it is going to be one of our primary tasks, other than to support our brothers and sisters at the Long Beach Fire Department, that we prosecute the individual that we've arrested to the full extent of the law. So at about 4 a.m. this morning, our patrol officers were dispatched to the multi-story residential apartment building that Chief DeRee talked about. To assist our fire department with the possible structure fire and explosion. During the incident, there were multiple reports of a potential active shooter on scene. We got immediate information that 2 firefighters were struck with gunfire and 1 civilian as well. Patrol officers immediately started to search for the shooter, as we normally do in these situations, to try and isolate him and save anybody else from being shot. We also immediately activated our SWAT team, which eventually responded. During this search, not only were there Long Beach police officers searching throughout this very large building, looking for additional victims, putting their safety at risk, but we were with Long Beach firefighters who, again, they knew what had just happened, but they didn't hesitate. Everybody went back in looking for additional victims. The third victim currently is only being identified as an elderly male resident of the building, and he is hospitalized, still listed in stable but critical condition. A person of interest was initially detained at the scene and transported to police headquarters for questioning, and subsequently he was arrested. The suspect has been identified as 77-year-old Thomas Kim, who is also a resident of this building. He has been booked for murder, 2 counts of attempted murder and arson, and is currently being held on $2 million bail. A handgun was recovered out at the scene. We do have a photo of that out here somewhere. You guys can take pictures of it or ask regarding that. It was appears to be a revolver. When we were out there on the scene, we did ask for the assistance of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's bomb squad unit because our officers found something that they believed to be suspicious. The LA County Sheriff's Department responded and they did find 2 suspicious devices. The bomb squad ended up rendering those safe. Again, we have a lot of questions about the devices that were found and the suspect's intent, which we do not have a full picture of yet. A response team from the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office responded to the scene. They specialize in murder investigations such as these, violent crimes against police officer or our firefighters, and they are assisting us. I want you all to know that from the onset of the incidents, not only the first responders, but we responded, many detectives out there, gathering information in order to put this puzzle together. They're still on it, they're still working. So what I ask to the public, if there's anybody who has any information, who may have witnessed something or heard something, please advise our homicide unit right away. And that's at 888-570-7244. With that, we will take some questions.
Can you describe how you caught him? Did he just give up? Or give us a little more detail on how you caught Mr. Kim?
He was still on scene, and I don't know exactly how we connected the dots quickly, but I know we took him safely into custody.
Is there any chance at all that this was a setup, that he intentionally set these fires with the intent of shooting anyone who came in the building?
That is a possibility. That is one option that we're looking at, and that will be investigated, because obviously if that's the case, we want to know why, and we want to get the information out to our partner agencies to make sure they're aware of the situation.
Chief, we know about Captain Rose in the fire. Can you tell us about the man that you've known for 17 years on your department?
So, Captain Dave Rose is a much beloved company officer with the Long Beach Fire Department. As I mentioned earlier, he's been with the department for 17 years. He's a staunch family man, good husband, good father, a joy to be around, just a wonderful, wonderful person, as are most firefighters. And he's just a beloved character. He spent most of his time working in the busiest stations in Long Beach. He spent a number of years working at our training center as a cadre member for new recruits, training our newest firefighters how to work professionally and how to be safe. He's left quite a big void. The department is definitely in mourning.
Chief, I've heard from people that something like this has never happened. You've had firefighters die on different occasions, but nothing of this kind was shot on the job.
This is the first I've heard of this. I've heard of this story in other parts of the country. This is the first time we've ever experienced anything like this.
There was absolutely, Chief, there was no sign, no indication of this guy's story. He had been a troublemaker. No one had gotten any word that he was, mentally ill or anything like that. That you recall?
Dave, we're looking at every angle right now. As far as his criminal history, I believe he had one arrest many, many years ago for auto theft, but we are digging, and we're digging deep.
And he did reside at the right there?
Our information is that he was a current resident of the location where this incident occurred.
Have you heard any reports about recent erratic behavior?
That's something that we're looking into, and the detectives are still working it right now as we speak.
Chief, he lived alone, I think. Did he have a family there with him or by himself?
I don't have that information just quite yet.
I know there was a third person involved. Was he a resident on the same floor? How exactly was he involved, and what's his condition right now?
He's currently at a local hospital in critical but stable condition, and he was a resident, but I can't tell you right now off the top of my head where exactly in the building he resided.
How was he involved in this whole thing?
We're still trying to determine that.
He enters a building. Does Kim get behind a door, open the door? You have a scenario on how he shot him?
That's all the puzzle we're trying to put together. We're looking at all the evidence, we're taking witness statements, and we're putting everything together. It's too premature to talk about exact details in that nature yet.
There's no doubt in your mind, and the evidence shows that he set the fire for the purpose of bringing the firefighters into the building.
Preliminary evidence and witness statements do point us in that direction.
Just to be clear, the explosion occurred in his unit, and suspicious devices were also found in his unit.
Yes.
Chief Three, what have you been able to tell the men and women of your department to just move forward from here after what happened this morning? I know it's been a tough day for all of you, but what do you do to just basically continue to do your job?
So look, the men and women of the Long Beach Fire Department are consummate professionals. I mean, as good or better than anybody I've ever met in the fire service. And I've been all over this country. I've never seen people with the quality and caliber of the Long Beach firefighters. So yes, we're in mourning. And yes, the department has been in a bit of a tailspin today. But like true professionals that they are, they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, went back into the fire stations by mid-afternoon today, and went back to work serving this community just the way anybody would expect them to do. So we will continue to work with our firefighters to ensure that as they have issues come up, if they need assistance in any way, peer counseling or support, we have mechanisms in place to do that. We did a critical incident stress debriefing, but I am immensely proud of the men and women of the Long Beach Fire Department, despite horrific tragedy, that they immediately went back to work in service to this community.
Kim's apartment's on the first, second floor, or you know? His apartment is on the first, second floor, or you know? Kim.
I believe it's on the second floor. Yeah.
Describe the devices that were
You know, we're going to go ahead and conclude the press briefing right now. Our other PIOs will be available for additional interviews or any questions you may have. And certainly we've provided you with as much information as we have at this point in time, and we'll continue to provide you with additional details as they become available. Continue to follow us at LBFD on our Twitter account for those details. We'll provide you with additional information as relates to the pending memorial service and additional details relating to additional support for the family and how you can make donations or other things that you might be able to do to support us during this time. But again, I have to tell you, we cannot express our sincere appreciation, our thanks to our community members at large, our local agencies, for all the support they continue to provide during this difficult time for us. So we appreciate your support, we appreciate your assistance, and we'll continue to provide you with details as they become available. Again, thank you very much for your time. We'll distribute that, and again, as I've also distributed, that file photo for firefighter Nestor Torres was also sent out on our Twitter account, so you can utilize that file photo for your updates as well. But we will provide additional support as needed for local media inquiries, even after this press conference from the other PIOs. Again, thank you for your time. We appreciate your support.
And the newest information coming out of this news conference is that the person taken into custody